deliberate step in taking the agricultural sector forward, the Senate Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions have organized this retreat. The retreat is expected to bring forward heads of colleges and institutions, fostering growth in the sector, according to the marching order of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The retreat has started. It is hoped that this is going to foster more solutions and then bring agriculture to its very height. Let's go in now and hear what participants has to say. Join me.
I remember we had discussed the issue of debt before. I would want to suggest that instead of the committee or two committees to let us study the Tax Fund Act and the NADF Act. Professor Sonny alluded to the fact that in the NADF Act, one of their mandates is to perform research with the caliber of people that we have around. We will find a way of penetrating there and getting something done. If it means going via legislation, they will be ready to do so. But what I want us to do is that time is not on our side. We are gradually getting close to the election year. So what we want to do now, the committee must come up with everything that they want to do latest by March ending of first week April. Because by the time July comes, August, nobody will listen to you. Not only. And not only that, even if you get this thing passed at that time, the presidency will be too busy to be able to have time to make any assets. So whatever we want to do, we must do now. And as soon as we get it done, if we are able to carry this leadership of National Assembly alone, it will be difficult for us to get an easy passage of the amendments. We also take into confidence the executive side of the executive, because even if you get it done and the opposite and presidency, it will come back to us. So that's that. Before the summit that we are proposing, I want us to come up with, certainly we are going to come up with resolutions or a blueprint after these sessions. Going by the new agenda of Mr. President, especially in the area of agriculture, and knowing fully well that there will be some interventions. And assisting us is not just it's assisting Nigeria, because whatever is also come out of it, because I am convinced with what we have seen today that we have the required ethics to be able to get the kind of result we want. Big time farmer is a miner, and you could see from the way he was asking, he asked his questions. You know that somebody is talking from point of knowledge. So this will be very good for us. On the issue of the curriculum, I think the problem we have in this country is ego. People in the sense that we tend to want to underrate one certificate over the other, overrate one over the other. And that is leading us to what we now see as trying to scrap HND and to let techniques and polytechnics and colleges to be able to now offer an award degrees. I do not think that is the answer. It is not. And some even states have gone further than that they have scrapped their polytechnics and colleges of education. Lagos, for example, they used to have campuses of university, had campuses of polytechnic, had campuses of college of education, like the one in Advert, the one in Ghana. They have universities now, what then is the essence of having the other institutions? Not only will it show us that everyone wants to go to university, but it's not very many of us here, very many of you here. I know might have passed through IR&T, College of Forestry, Polytechnics, and you are professors, you are whatever you are. It has not shown that you are less qualified than anybody who went straight from secondary school to the university. You all have a role to play, and it's for all of us, especially those of us there who have relationship with the Ministry of Education. When you go to the yearly Council of Education, let them realize that that's not the way to go. I didn't go to the Polytechnic, so I'm not fighting for them because I am an alumnus. I went straight from secondary school, A-levels to university, and I read law, not Greek. But I think seriously that we need to still keep some of these things. As a matter of fact, our old technical colleges, we must bring them back. Because you will not find it difficult for people, because everybody now wants to be a boss. And leadership is about levels. One is not inferior to the other. In your own field, you are the best. The other person's field is the best. So, and without having you, it's like somebody working in a brewery. You meet one of the so-called very senior technicians. You ask him, why are you doing this? He said, that's the way you are taught to be doing it. But without him, the technical controller cannot work. They have a problem. So whether he knows why he should do it or not, the man knows how to mix it. And that's what he's doing for 20 years. The Oga cannot come and do it. Oga will have to go to the laboratory and start doing some mathematics or equations to get what he wanted. So I think I want to plead again. Those of us who have the universities who have relationship or interaction with the Ministry of Education should please let, and it could also be part of what we come up with after this exercise.
It is a distinct honor for me to convene the speech on behalf of Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria at the strategies retreat convened by the Senate Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions. I sincerely commend the committee for the visionary leadership and sustained commitment to strengthen Nigerian agricultural research, training, and colleges. At the end, the communique we have here and the speech that were delivered here and lectures were delivered here are all towards one goal, which is the New Hope agenda of Mr. President to ensure food security in Nigeria. We are on the line to achieve that. Why I said is that Mr. President deemed it fit that the youth are the backbone of his economy. And that is where most of our youth in Nigeria are given opportunity to serve in this regard, more especially in this kind of agricultural one of the biggest agricultural institutions in Nigeria that coordinates different agricultural research institutions. So we really appreciate that for him giving us the opportunity to do this. My appreciation goes to the presenters of various papers. They really do well on those papers. What left now is the policymakers to see how they harmonize all these different papers delivered to actualization of the goal of achieving the New Hope agenda. Because I must tell you, the New Hope agenda is not negotiable. it has come to stay. We must sustain, we must hold it and embrace it. So, on that note, we don't want to say much, but the most I will say, and because of time factor, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity. We hope to be having this annually. So we always come here, discuss the problem, and discuss the way forward, so that Nigeria will be a better place again.
The renewed agenda is on national food security. So we are at international funding. Yes, we do have partners that bring projects for implementation. Agro-industrial expansion, this is another opportunity. Youth, a lot of youth are becoming interested in agriculture, and digital and precision agriculture. It's also in vogue now. Policy influence. For example, what we are discussing here, the outcome of this retreat may influence policy in our favor. Some of the threats we are facing are structural funding vulnerability. Our major source of capital project is for the budget. Once there is problem with the budget allocation, then we become a little bit destabilized. Ecological and climate risks, this is a global problem. We need to adjust some of our technologies. For example, some of our maize varieties, they were developed when the rainfall pattern was not a big issue, but now, because of climate change, we are changing into developing drought-tolerant maize varieties, for example, and also insect pest tolerant varieties. Institutional competition, weak technology uptake. As we said yesterday, some of these technologies are proven, waiting to be disseminated to the farmers. So we don't have the funds, and the extension system in the country is very weak. Some states do not even have extension staff at all. So that limits the dissemination of technologies from agri-research institutes. The similarities again, this is the National Extension Research Institute that has the mandate for disseminating all proven technologies all over the country. It has its zonal offices in all the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. One of the major weaknesses in this research institute is the issue of weak private sector linkages. We realize that most of the private sectors are not working together with this National Research Institute. They are working in silos. There is need to harmonize that. On the opportunity, the digital age that we are gives the Institute the opportunity to reach out to more population, more farmers, communities than the previous system of having to have extension agents. But what we are saying is that the digital is not a replacement for the face-to-face extension. The two have to complement each other. National Root Cross Research Institute, its strength is focused on research and development outlook, and most of the strengths, they are similar. It also has strong local extension linkages and strong international partnerships. The presentation by the AD this morning alluded some of those partnerships and the products they've been able to develop together through such funding. The weaknesses, the poor and irregular funding is a big problem. As I said, a lot of cross-cutting issue, aging infrastructure. Some of these infrastructure are obsolete. Some of them we cannot even find spare parts for them. We need replacement for them. The opportunities are also listed here, very similar. Now, the threats, paucity of fund, climate issue, weak technology, overbearing oversight by multiple role players. But I believe at the end of this retreat, that will be streamlined. Insecurity in research stations. The Research Institute has a lot of outstations. Some of them are in areas where the researchers cannot visit. And that is a big threat because some of the varieties they develop are location specific. So if you don't conduct research there, the communities or the zone may be shortchanged.
The main message was this: agri-tech and digital learning represent the emerging bridge to mechanization and food security. The core message: skill focus from traditional land and labor to data system and strategy simplified. What happened to be the data evidence? Recent statistics indicate about 80% of the people face same form of food insecurity. There are evidences of significantly improved yields through digital adoption, which is currently limited by a lack of digital literacy and high non-input as a result of limited access to WhatsApp. Then we talk about the future implications. The future may involve widespread adoption of artificial intelligence for improved decision making and productivity gap closure, as seen in recent training initiatives. Also in his presentation, the main message was youth empowerment. Technology is a primary vehicle to transform the young Nigerians into practicing agriculture. The message also, there is a strong call to integrate digital skills directly into agricultural curriculum to ensure that graduates are prepared for modern labor market trends.
The Nigerians, by our Nigerian factors, we are not ready to pay for anything. And when you even tell them, they say, but are you telling me that federal government has not paid you money to do this kind of thing? So, unlike the countries where they value innovations, patenting, and all these things, they are ready to pay. But my experience in Nigeria, take for instance when we are pushing, I call it cassava for bread in Nigeria. We traveled around almost 26 states, even during President Obasanjo. And when Dr. Jonathan was also the president, and Dr. Akinwumi as the honorable minister, I was a consultant on cassava value chain. We can see all of us will work again and push it. That there's no baker in this country that is ready to pay for entomology. For the 20%, if we want to increase it to 30%, pay ordinary money for an enzyme. They are not ready. They want us to give them free of charge. So, and that's the experience that I have. And like Prof. Adoa said, we are lucky that we have developmental partners like the Foundation that is also putting money down for us to be able to scale. If you are not able to scale, there's no way you can get value for the research I'm talking. Companies. The companies we set up and our staff are the one coordinating those companies. And you need investment to be able to maximize the opportunity. For you to get money, profit from chicken brown, for instance. You recall that CBN wanted to give, I don't know whether they eventually gave you the loan. NAPRI that time. They wanted to give them loan, and that time. We need money, we need investment. If we now want to go into Alpha chicken now and want to produce thousands of it, you need billions. And that's why you need the private sector, the commercial people that can be able to put the money there. Or government has the back of agri, or the Nigerian Agricultural Fund Development that we have fought for. And if we can work on it to be useful to us, because as of today, the case is asking, who has collected fund? I know farmers have collected fund from that NADF. Farmers, and that NADF was not set up for farmers. It is back of agri that is set up for farmers. It's just a misplace of priority, the way I look at it. And if we are not careful, they will cancel it as we are going on. Because with the capitalization of back of agri, NADF will become obsolete if they did not do. The NADF is supposed to be the alternative to TED fund for agriculture. Put money down for agriculture in terms of library, ICT, training for staff, short training, agricultural research funding, renewal of infrastructure development. We stated everything when we interacted with NADF. But the way it's been implemented now, the relegated research institute and colleges, and they are doling out money for farmers. Who validated those farmers they are doling out money for? 90% of them may be political farmers. And that's why I said, back of agri with the capitalization, NADF may not be able to operate in 5 years' time if they do not go back and behave as state form of agriculture that NADF was set up for.
The Vice Chancellor noted that for the first time in this country, a very important retreat organized by the National Legislative Arm and of course the Senate of this country organized this platform for interactions between the legislature, the universities and institutes, as well as other stakeholders, to discuss not only the budget that was defended or proposed, but also looking towards having to make a remarkable improvement in the course of agricultural transformation in this country. In course of that deliberation, among the Vice Chancellors, they noted that Nigeria stands very key in agricultural production in not only in Africa, but in the entire world. Of course, the Vice Chancellors noted that being a tropical region, Nigeria contributes 70% of the food needs of the global population, and therefore felt that this congregation provided a platform for further discourse. And in noting, the VCs acknowledge the fact that about 6 different presentations were made between yesterday and today, cutting across different sectors of the agricultural activities of this country, including the sponsor of this all-important program. Of course, the keynote was delivered by a Vice Chancellor, and a very important Vice Chancellor from the most ranked University of Agriculture in Africa. Most ranked because that university stood as #1 agricultural university in Africa and 1 in Nigeria. The VC is no other person but Professor Obi Kehinde, who presented on agri-tech and digital learning as it affects transformative agricultural education in Nigeria and beyond. The highlight of that presentation emphasize on the need for a rethink that deals with the emerging trend in this jet age of Gen Z. And this meant that not the kind of traditional agriculture that we're all known to have grown up with, because our generation had experienced what the new generation cannot stand to experience. And therefore, things like Internet of Things, data analytics, and the rest of them were mentioned as key digital areas of concentration. Of course, Professor Kende noted that doing this will enhance high-tech agricultural production to meet with the need of food for the over 230 to 240 people in this great country. While reflecting, the VCs felt too that when they travel outside this country, they are met with colleagues from other African countries and elsewhere that appreciate what resources God has given to this country. And therefore, some of them reported that they had met colleagues who said they had to pray for this country, Nigeria, at any time they hear about any crisis or anything about that will affect the country's unity. Because they believe that if anything happens to Nigeria, they also will be affected. And that is to note that the expectation is that Nigeria is not only producing food for itself alone, but should be able to produce for the neighboring countries and others around the world. And therefore, the keynote speaker mentioned that productivity will be enhanced by the digital tools. These digital tools could also include even drones as well as robots. Well, it doesn't really we don't feel having this with us at the level of commercialization, but they're already happening as noted by his speech.
With the same, fostering collaboration and innovation, re-engineering agricultural colleges and institutes, the Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutes have deemed it fit to come and organize this particular retreat. This retreat is aimed at bringing together heads of colleges and institutes, bringing forward the problems and, of course, fostering possible solutions to some of these in the sector. This initiative is expected to bring forth or spring to life solutions that will make the sector go forward in line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's food sustainability program. From here at the Retreat Center, I'm Khadija Oluwatoyin. Say bye for now.